What's up, Space Cowboys? This is James Hernandez. How's everybody doing? And welcome to a brand new video. And today I'm going to be doing a anime review. And today's anime I'm going to be reviewing is a classic anime from 1998. And judging by the glasses that I'm wearing, well, it's not technically my glasses, it's actually my father's glasses, but I hope he doesn't mind if I borrowed it, because today I'm going to be reviewing this classic anime show called Cowboy Bebop. Now, Cowboy Bebop is a 1998 space adventure Western anime, which was released in 1998. And this anime was animated by Sunrise, that is best known for making the animation for like the Gundam franchise, as well as Code Geass and Steam Boy, and a couple other animes that Sunrise has been animating throughout the years. So in this anime, so basically the plot of this anime centers on the group of bounty hunters as they are in the space atmosphere in the ship called the Bebop. And this actually took place in the year 2071, which is like way in the future, which is beyond crazy. So basically the bounty hunters are Spike Spiegel, Jet Black, Faye Valentine, Edward, as well as the cute dog, Eon, or Ian, whatever you want to call him. And as they basically are in the ship and they go to Earth, and they were like fighting all these like criminals and thugs and muggers in order to like being pretty much a badass, while Spike Spiegel is usually like the most trained fighter in the Cowboy Bebop series. So the first time I actually got into Cowboy Bebop is when this show actually aired on Toonami, when it was on Adult Swim throughout the years when I was a teenager, when I was like beginning to watch anime such as Bleach, Naruto, IGPX, Space Dandy, as well as Black Lagoon. So overall, let's talk about the animation in this anime. So the anime is actually really nice. I thought the animation in this looks really cool, and the atmosphere actually is pretty cool. Like, I think the animation for this anime, especially when it came out in 1998, really does hold up, and it really looks like a really cool, like a Western stylist and outer space show. And I think the animators did a wonderful job of making the Cowboy Bebop universe just look as good as it was to this day. And I think they did a really good job on it. Now, and I want to talk about the music. Now, the music in this anime is fantastic, especially the opening called Tank is actually one of the most iconic and actually one of the most like amazing soundtracks I ever heard in the anime, especially when it goes like dun 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 dun, and the music composer did a fantastic job, and I really like the music, and I still listen to it to this day. Definitely one of my favorite intros I have ever heard in the anime, and it still holds up, and I really love it. Even like when I either rewatch the show or I just want to like listen to the music just for the hell of it, I thought it was really cool, and I still listen to it today. Definitely one of my favorite openings in anime history. And as for the characters are so likable, and there actually are very well developed characters like Spike, Jet, Faye, Edward a little bit, and same goes for Ian, but I'll get into that later. But the three characters are just as very well developed, and they really do have their tragic backstories that you really do feel really sorry for them. Especially you feel sorry for Spike. Spike Spiegel is actually one of my favorite characters in the show, because not only because that he's like an old-fashioned cowboy, also known as a bounty hunter, who is actually very skilled at martial arts, and he basically has like a cool personality while he's also such a laid-back character. But he's actually voiced by Steve Blum, and Steve Blum has been voicing a lot of characters in his career, and he's been a really busy guy, because he's been voicing like Tom the Robot from Toonami. He voiced Starscream from Transformers Prime, the Green Goblin from the Spectacular Spider-Man. He voiced Wolverine in one of the Marvel cartoons. He voiced I forgot the name of the Digimon, but it was from Digimon Tamers, I think it's called. And he also voiced I think he voiced Sub-Zero in one of the recent Mortal Kombat games. So, I mean, Steve Blum, he's been like really busy with his performance, and I think he did an absolute great job. That he is like one of the voice actors that I would love to meet in real life, because every time I listen to his voice, whatever he voiced Spike or even Tom from Toonami, he's like the voice actor was like a role model to be like one of the most iconic voice actors I have ever heard in animation history or even in pop culture. I think he did an absolute fantastic job voicing Spike Spiegel. And I also like the other characters like Jet. The Jet is actually the captain, and he's basically he basically is basically leads the Bebop, and he also has like this very metal arm, which he actually has it like during his past when he got into an accident. And he is also a really good character, and I really like that he is basically like a very close comrade as well as a friend to Spike Spiegel, and his chemistry with Spike is just fantastic. And the actor, I don't know who voiced him, but he did a really good job with his performance as well. I think he also did a good job. And when it comes to voice acting, I'm basically am talking about the English dubs, because when it comes to anime, the dubs I think is actually really good. Not to say the sub was bad, no disrespect to anyone who prefers the sub over the dub, but when it comes to English dubbing, this one is actually one of those animes where I think the dub is actually really, really, really good. So, and I can pretty much say the same thing about Jet. Jet is basically he's basically the captain of the Bebop, and he has like a metal arm from his past when he got into an accident, and he basically just likes to forget the past. Like one of the characters actually wants to forget the past, while one actually wants to was being traumatized by the past. But I'll get into that when I talk about the final episodes during the episode segments. So yeah, I thought Jet Black is a really cool character, and I really like him. Now, next up is Faye Valentine. Now, when it comes to female anime characters, Faye Valentine is actually one of the most beautiful and the most attractive beauties that you have ever seen in anime history. Faye Valentine is the femme fatale, and she is the woman of the Bebop crew, and she really does have like an interesting personality whenever she hunts down the criminals as well as the other muggers, because there are times where like Faye actually really does flirt with them, but then she actually really does get into her side, and she basically will fight them. And she does have like one of her like cool badass moments, much like Spike. And her past is also really interesting because it was stated that she actually has been frozen for I want to say 85 years. I could be wrong, but yeah. And then she actually did manage to join the Bebop crew when she actually first encounters both Jet and Spike. And the voice actress who voiced her, she did a good job. And Faye Valentine, I really love her, and I think she's actually really good. And then she is also like one of my favorite female characters, not just in anime, but she's also considered to be like one of my favorite female characters in pop culture history. And of course, we cannot deny of like how attractive and beautiful she is, and I really loved her for that. Now, the next character I'm going to talk about is Edward. Now, Edward is the youngest, and she's basically a kid, and she's also a very genius hacker who basically just joins the Bebop crew just for fun. And she is very energetic, and the reason why she wants to join the Bebop crew until about one of the last episodes of the show where she left is because she thought it was for fun, and then she is very supportive to one of the members of the Bebop. And then we got into one of the cutest characters in the show, and that is Ian, the dog. Now, Ian is the dog that was introduced, I want to say, in the 4th or the 3rd episode, and it's basically a corgi. It's a dog, and is actually one of the most adorable dogs I have ever seen. And plus, I love dogs very much. And Ian is just, basically just there just for being, for being cute for the sake of being cute, because, Ian's a dog, and it's a corgi, and, ruff, ruff. All right, I'm sorry. But Ian is so cute. There's not much I can really say about this dog, because Ian is actually one of the cutest dogs I've ever seen in an anime. There was another dog I actually have seen that is really adorable, like the dog from Kuroko's Basketball named Tetsuo number 2, which is the last name of Kuroko from Kuroko's Basketball. But yeah, but Ian is such a cute dog, and it's definitely one of my favorite dog characters. Maybe in the next top 10 list, I might do like my top 10 or top 20 favorite dogs in pop culture, but we'll see. But anyway, so yeah, Ian is such a cute dog. Now let's talk about the villain of the movie. Well, not the movie, the villain of the show, and that is Vicious. Now, Vicious is the guy who has like long hair, and he basically has like a long sword, which he does remind me of like of Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. Now, the thing with Vicious is that he was originally a best friend to Spike Spiegel during the crime syndicate during Spike's past, and then the reason why Spike and Vicious are enemies to each other is because it was revealed that that Spike actually has a relationship with Vicious' girlfriend, Julia. And then when Vicious noticed that, he was not impressed. He was very mad. And then he basically does the most threatening situation that he actually gives to Julia: either kill Spike or both him and her will die. And I was like, yo, dude, what is the matter with you? Like, I know you're upset that Spike actually took your girl, but you don't have to like make like a decision threat like that. Like, come on, man, like relax. And the fight between Spike and Vicious was actually very intense, and it was really cool, especially by the end of the episode where after when Julia was killed, um, and then Spike has to like go face Vicious by himself, and it was actually very intense that these two actually like shoot and it basically slash at each other, and it was just crazy, you know. And Vicious is actually like one of the villains that is actually very like you really want to fight that guy, you know, like much like Vincent from the Cowboy Bebop movie. Now, as for the episodes in this anime, I'm not gonna mention a lot of episodes because unlike the other episodes of other animes, this one is actually very episodic, if that makes any sense. You know, much like Space Dandy, because there were times like where Spike or either like Faye or Jet or Ed, you know, meet like the other side characters that are like not huge to the plot, are just kind of there, and most of the side characters are quite forgettable with a few exceptions. There was one like where Spike was fighting this Mad Hatter guy. I think it's called the Mad Patriot. I think that's his name, which he does remind me of like the Penguin from Batman, and even due to like the design, he looks exactly like Penguin or even the Mad Hatter. And the fight between them was really crazy because this guy was trying to kill Spike, and then what happened to that Patriot guy is when they went to the carnival, and then he actually got stomped and crushed by one of the carnivals, and that was the end of him. We don't see him again because he's basically dead. So, and that was like how that episode ends. So yeah, I really do think that Cowboy Bebop is actually a really fun, really cool Western anime, and it's got really good music. Like it's got like jazz, blues, funk, and heavy metal, and they have like I forgot the other one was called, but the music is actually really good. Even though the blues is not really like my favorite type of music, but the blues music that they play in it is actually really good, and it just makes you feel the emotions in your heart for these characters, especially towards like Spike and Faye. So I think the music composers, you know, like much like with the opening, the music composers actually did a really good job with this jazz and blues, and especially the heavy metal when it comes to the action, especially when Spike Spiegel was pretty much like beating the daylights out of the muggers and all these criminals throughout each of the episode. Now I'm going to talk about the things that I don't like, because you know, as much as I really want to give this anime a 10 out of 10, I do have some like major criticisms. Now the criticisms I have with the show is that with Edward, she doesn't really have that much like of a backstory, unlike Spike, Faye, and Jet, which is a shame because Edward is actually one of the main members of the Cowboy Bebop crew, and usually like she's pretty much like just there just for being an energetic kid, and she basically just like joins them just because of that she thinks it's for fun. And the same goes for Ian the dog. I wish there was like more development for Ian, because I really want to see like more development for this dog. and that's actually one of my major complaints with the show. The other criticisms I kind of had is that there were moments in the show where it can get a little boring at times in some episodes, and there are times where it does get pretty slow, where it feels like nothing is like interesting that is really happening. But not to say the episodes was bad, because I don't think there was any bad episode of Cowboy Bebop, because I think the episodes in this anime is actually really good, although they can be a bit like a bit boring to sit through. But other than that, I just think the whole show is actually really good. I think the the animation, the characters, the voice acting, mostly in English, is actually really good, and development for the characters is actually really good. Definitely like one of the best character developments I've ever seen in an anime. So, and the last thing I'm gonna be talking about is the ending. Now, in the one of the final two episodes of Cowboy Bebop is when Julia was killed, Spike actually left the Bebop in order to get his revenge on Vicious, and then he goes after him. And when these two fight, they actually have their final confrontation. And then when yeah, Spike actually kills Vicious, but then Spike got sliced like right here, like on his abs, which it really hurts. And then he comes like downstairs, and then he gives like this iconic line where he was, well, not line, but this iconic sign off to the show where he was like, bang, and then he just like passed out on the stairs, and that was like the end. Now, I don't know if it was confirmed that if Spike actually died or not, or basically he just passed out and then maybe he just went back to the Bebop crew, like off screen. But I'm not really sure. But you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that, because it's been a very, very, very long time since I watched this anime. So yeah, so overall, guys, I think that's all I got to say about Cowboy Bebop. It's actually one of my favorite animes of all time. Definitely a classic. There were some problems I did have with the show, but when the stuff is good, it's actually really good, and I do recommend the show to fans of like Sunrise Animation. And if you guys really like Western, like outer space animes, especially if you like outer space animes like Space Dandy, which I also did a review on. I reviewed the first two seasons of Space Dandy. Then this is the show that I think you guys should definitely go watch. This is actually worth watching. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give Cowboy Bebop the series a 9.3 out of 10. This is actually a really fun anime. Is it perfect? No, but do I enjoyed it? Yes, I still really loved it. And I think this is definitely one of these animes that I actually do recommend to fans of Western outer space anime. So especially if you like voice acting from anime that is actually really, really good, this is definitely one of them. So yeah, so if you guys want to check out Cowboy Bebop, I don't know if you can like find it on streaming, because it was originally on Hulu, and then I was gonna watch it, but then thanks to Hulu taking it off, that really got me mad. So but hey, at least I got the series on DVD, so I don't have to worry about that. So, but anyways, guys, so yeah, definitely say go get Cowboy Bebop on DVD and Blu-ray and go buy it. So folks, that is my review for Cowboy Bebop. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I would love to hear from you guys. Have you guys seen Cowboy Bebop? If so, what did you guys think of it? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? What do you think of the animation? What do you think of the voice acting? Do you like the music in this? And who's your favorite Cowboy Bebop character? Comment below and let me know. And also, in case if you guys are new here, feel free to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and turn on the notifications when I make brand new videos. And stay tuned for the next anime that I'm going to be reviewing is Black Lagoon, which is another anime that I haven't watched for a very long time. So stay tuned for my review for Black Lagoon. So since I just reviewed Cowboy Bebop, Black Lagoon is coming up next. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And hope you guys enjoy my review for Cowboy Bebop. This is James Hernandez signing out just by giving you like this. Bang!